Tom Zbikowski, safety with the Ravens, played at Notre Dame. Boxing this weekend. See, the world's full of a lot of tough guys until they actually have to do it. And Dave and I cover a lot of fighting. I work for Yahoo, so I blog on MMA and boxing, and I always find it funny the way people talk about fighters, especially when they're on the back end or, maybe they're losing their skills a little bit. And I think other athletes don't really have an appreciation for what they do sometimes. What is going on with Chad Ochocinco? Do you see this nonsense recently? Come on, yeah. Chad, please.
Definitely. I've me and him have been. Well, he's in our division.
Yeah.
And he's probably one of the best self-marketers out there. And if he really does want to fight, I will, but I don't really see him stepping in the ring with me. And especially after he sees me fight Saturday, I don't think he will.
Yeah.
But if he does, we'll make it happen. We'll do that. I have absolutely no problem with that. I love fighting, and I love the competition. I'll fight, anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. How many guys in the NFL that of actually have a boxing background and could be competitive?
I know, just playing throughout the league, you'll just get some random, randomly, just people coming up saying they boxed or, when I was going to box again, if I was going to box again. But it's honestly, a lot of them, when you get past all the weightlifting and all the 225 bench press test that absolutely shows absolutely nothing, you start, that's what tough guys do, and that's what you're talking about, it was always about how much you could bench,
Yeah.
But it means absolutely nothing. So they start doing either the mixed martial arts or the jiu-jitsu. They'll do something because you can't beat that type of balance. You can't beat that type of leverage. You can't, when you're boxing, you can't afford to ever be out of position. And you really can't in football, but there's a lot more room. When you're in a boxing ring and you got 18 feet by 18 feet or whatever size ring it is, you don't have much room to work with. It's not like it's a 100-yard field. It's not like, you have, that much room for error. So you're almost forced to, always be in that athletic position. It's honestly the most athletic. It's the most anaerobic workout you can do because a lot of people think, the old school training of going and jogging for 3, 4, 5 miles. Boxing is not like that. If you've ever been in a fight, your heart rate is not at the same level, for an extended period of time. It skyrockets up to 150, 160, 170, and then it drops back down to 100, so you have to train like that. And with football, it's like that, but it's only for, 5, 6 seconds, and then you got a 45-second break, a 40-second break. Then it's 5, 6 seconds, 40-second break, where in boxing it's, over a 3-minute period where, you'll get a little bit of a hard drop, but not that much. And people don't understand that it's the most anaerobic exercise you can do because you're doing it for 36 minutes. When you ever break down how long a football player really plays, it's like 7 minutes or something?
Right.
I think it's like 6, 7 minutes. When you're boxing, it's 30. If you're fighting for a world title, 12-rounder, it is 36 minutes. Even mine for a 4-rounder is still 12 minutes. You're still looking at double the workload of anaerobic exercise.
Tom Zbikowski with us at Stephen Dave, ESPN Radio 1100, fighting this weekend. Former Notre Dame player, plays with the Ravens in the NFL, going to be boxing on the Cotto-Mayorga card. Covering both MMA and boxing, one thing the MMA guys always say about boxers, MMA guys are always trying to work on their striking, and they say the amazing thing about boxers, and maybe you can attest to this, is not only going in there, and being physically fit, but managing your stamina. Like you can actually, they always say the boxers are just relaxed as opposed to some of the MMA guys who are all tensed up and you're so tense it can actually gas you quicker.
Yep. It does, and that's the thing about football players that you don't realize. When I was getting ready for my fight at the Garden, I was doing too much lifting and too much football stuff, and it hurt my overall stamina because you don't understand that any tension in your neck, any tension in those big traps that, muscle-bound people have absolutely destroys your power and your stamina. And, if you just block punches for 30, 40 seconds, a dude like that is going to be tired out. And the thing of it is just learning how. It's the hardest thing in the world. Can you imagine somebody throwing punches at you that knows how to punch, and you're supposed to just be 100% calm? You know what I mean? It's completely against human nature. That's why if you're not starting at a young age, it's other than the dude Sergio Martinez, he's like the only guy that started after the age of 20 that has a world title.
So how many people have asked you, and you have a good boxing background, but how many people have asked you, hey, dude, why are you doing this? Are you nuts?
I've been asked that my whole life, man, so I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I've been asked that since I was like 4 years old when I got kicked out of soccer and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think soccer works for a guy who plays football and boxes.
It didn't, and baseball too. It didn't work out too long for me. It was too slow paced. I love it because I come from a baseball family. I still play, like softball, summer leagues back home and stuff. But I was not made for those sports.
What did you get kicked out of soccer for when you were 4 years old?
They put me in goalie, so I left. You know what I mean? I left and I started just taking the ball, and then I may have run into the other team's bench and stuff. And not
Very nice.
I had an older brother, you know what I mean? So he showed up and started egging me on with his friends, and of course I couldn't say, you know what I mean? I couldn't just act normal. And
right.
then the coach went over to my dad afterwards and said, "Don't come back next week."
Uh-oh. All right.
It happens.
Hey, so where can you take this? I mean, you got to have it in mind, like what you're going to do with your football career, and if you're going to go long term with a boxing career.
I fly by the seat of my pants. I have no idea. I wish I could really tell you what I was going to do, but my brother got me into football, way back when, and I love playing it. I love, the team aspect and all that, but I love the limelight. I love the pressure of walking in. When you step in the arena, as soon as you start walking to the ring, all eyes are on you, and just even for, like you were saying, people, you know what I mean? You don't understand how much it takes just to walk into the ring, let alone be good. You know what I mean? You're walking into somebody that's about to take your head off, and the type of embarrassment that could happen to you, possibly, you know what I mean? Like that. If you've been in a street fight or something, you're embarrassed after you've gotten punched or you lost. Imagine if the whole world's watching.
Tom Zbikowski, former Notre Dame safety and now playing in the NFL, boxing this weekend, Cotto Mayorga card. So are you doing this because you're hard up for money? Because we know what's going on in the NFL. You a little worried about your future?
I'm broke. I got no idea where my next paycheck's coming from.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. I do this because I had almost 100 amateur fights, and I've been I put boxing on the back burner for too long. It's been eating me for a while because it really wasn't just the 3 years in the NFL. It was the 5 years I was at Notre Dame. I missed an opportunity to fight for the Olympics and represent my country in 2004, and that's something that still, as a young kid when I was 9, 10 years old, I dreamed about nightly about being able to fight in the Olympics, wearing the red, white, and blue. But you move on, and I'm thankful and I'm blessed that, obviously I've made it to the NFL and graduated from college, and now my first fight was at Madison Square Garden, and my second fight is at MGM Grand. I got a lot of things I got to be thankful for.
That's not bad. I was a little worried about you though, money wise, because I don't know if you heard the story about one of the offensive linemen for the Jets, Matt Slauson. Do you hear this one yet?
No, what happened?
He's worried about the lockout and not having revenue, so he's moving with his pregnant wife. Check that, his wife and baby into his parents' house.
I mean, it's smart for these guys got to start realizing you got to stop worrying about the image of an NFL player because 80% of the NFL is broke, unemployed, and divorced 3 years out of the NFL, which a lot of people don't know. It's a disgusting number.
Yeah.
And we're taught and we're supposed to upkeep a certain image where they're told that if you'll be set for life if you're making this amount of money, but that's if you're living like where you came from. That's not living like you're making millions of bucks every single year.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to be smart with it. Apparently there's 20% that are and 80% that aren't.
Tom Zbikowski with us boxing this weekend, Cotto Mayorga card. I'm going to play a little soundbite for you here in just a second. I guess you went on the Dan Patrick show, which we run on our sister station, and I didn't hear the interview, but I heard this promo clip. So I want to play this for the audience because you were talking about your bar fighting experience, and I want a little I want a little clarification in a second. Go ahead. Let a few thousand people in Vegas hear it.
Tom Zbikowski, the Ravens, joining us for the Dan Patrick Show. You ever gotten in a bar fight?
One.
And?
It was one and done. But it was after the one guy, there was still 5 other people, you know what I mean? So
wait, you took care of one and then 5 other guys came after you?
Yeah. I'm from Chicago, you know what I mean? So there's little Guidos that think their dads are in the mob. You got to slap them around and put them in their place.
Very nice. Very nice. I can't wait until you go back to Chicago with all the Guidos there.
I know. I might. Well, there's more Polish in Chicago than there is Warsaw, so I'll be all right.
That's it.
true.
You know what I mean? It's if you've seen, have you ever seen what's it called, The Breakup?
Yep.
I'll get a bunch of Polacks from my neck of the woods that are going nowhere if you want.
So,
don't make me.
Well,
don't make me. Don't make me. Do not make me.
You know what? I'm glad you brought up the Guidos because I'm from New Jersey. I actually grew up on the Jersey Shore, and like people are like, "Oh, these guys from and these girls from New York and New Jersey, oh, you know, awful." I'm like, there are Guidos everywhere. Okay,
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Love that show.
There's just a stronger influence on the East Coast in New York and New Jersey. Yeah. I think it's just because of the accent, you know, like it's automatically. Yeah. They think, you know,
right.
Whatever it have you. But I've met some of the nicest people that are Italian that sound exactly the same, you know what I mean, with the accent and all that stuff, but they're some of the best people you've ever met in your life.
Sure, and as it turns out, you don't have an accent, so it's not like Chicagoans have an accent at all.
Chicago. Only when you say Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is ballsy. I know you have a good background, but like you said, there's a potential downside to going out there when you're a big name in another sport. So we'll be out there watching you. Wish you a lot of luck. I'm a fight fan, so and I like the NFL as well. But I hope you make it into boxing down the road on a more full-time basis and have a lot of success. And I hope you win this weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the support too.
There you go, Tom Zbikowski.